It was the franchise no one thought could fail. Critics worshipped it, gamers obsessed over it, viewers tuned in like it was the second coming of prestige television. The Last of Us was the one property everyone said was untouchable. But now, it's a pile of broken expectations, angry fan threads, and one very public cancellation.
I'm sorry. That was acting.
And at the epicenter of this once flawless empire, Bella Ramsey, who just months ago was being hailed as the bold, raw, brave face of Ellie. Today, she's in hiding. Her social media has gone quiet. Her tearful emojis and cryptic captions have fans fearing the worst. And making things even worse, Kaitlyn Dever, her co-star and once ally, is now subtly but unmistakably calling her the reason the franchise collapsed.
Because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
So how did we get here? How did one of the most beloved titles in gaming and TV history crumble under its own weight? And how did Bella become its most tragic casualty? This is not just a fall from grace, this is a public detonation.
That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian,
And the aftershocks? They're shaking the entire entertainment industry. When Bella Ramsey stepped into the role of Ellie in season 1, fans were skeptical, but eventually charmed. Her performance was unconventional, quirky, vulnerable, something different, and it worked. Season 1 was a hit. But then came season 2, and suddenly the cracks began to show.
Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same.
Ellie was now supposed to be 19, wiser, harder, a survivor shaped by unimaginable loss. But Bella still looked and acted like a young teen. Her physical presence hadn't evolved. Her emotional range felt stuck in season 1. Fans on Reddit, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter, didn't hold back. Ellie feels frozen in time. She hasn't grown, she hasn't changed. Even in the writing, Ellie made self-deprecating jokes about being stupid, lines that left longtime fans furious.
Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie.
People weren't just disappointed, they felt betrayed. Bella Ramsey was no longer just miscast in their eyes. She had become the symbol of everything going wrong.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What?
No, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season.
By the time episode 4 aired, the warning signs were everywhere. Ratings had nosedived. Online forums were a mess of outrage and memes. Review bombing campaigns kicked into full swing. The Last of Us 2 wasn't just struggling, it was imploding. The same franchise that once dominated award shows and broke viewership records was now being openly mocked. Show creator Craig Mazin, known for his unapologetic honesty, didn't mince words either. He admitted the obvious: season 2 had failed. But privately, studio execs weren't just worried about storylines, they were pointing fingers. And the finger was landing on one person, Bella Ramsey. Not just for her performance, but for what she was doing off-screen. While fans were debating episodes and plot twists, something far more dangerous was happening behind the curtain. Kaitlyn Dever, the rising star cast as Abby, a role many feared would ruin her career, was quietly winning people over. Her performance? Fierce, gritty, complex. Even fans who hated Abby in the games said Kaitlyn crushed it. But despite the on-screen chemistry, things backstage were icy cold. Leaks began to surface that Kaitlyn had grown increasingly frustrated, not just with the show's reception, but with Bella herself. Multiple insiders claimed Kaitlyn privately blamed Bella's public persona, her controversial opinions, political tweets, and PR slip-ups, as the root of the show's collapsing goodwill. One insider quoted her saying, "We're carrying this weight, and she's out there lighting fires." As HBO scrambled to salvage the show's reputation, the war between Ellie and Abby wasn't just on screen. It was real, and it was personal. It was supposed to be harmless. Just another casual Instagram Q&A for the fans. One follower asked, "What was it like working with Kaitlyn Dever?" Bella's response? A shrug, a smirk, and a biting one-liner. She's a method actress with an attitude. It was meant to be playful, but the internet doesn't forget, doesn't forgive. The clip went viral within hours. Some laughed it off, others saw it as disrespectful. Team Kaitlyn hashtags began trending. Fan pages turned against Bella. Commentary channels on YouTube dissected her tone, her body language, her intent, and HBO? They panicked. According to sources, the studio ordered PR teams to separate the actresses during future appearances. But instead of calming the fire, they poured gasoline on it. Then came the big night, The Last of Us 2 premiere. What should have been a triumphant celebration turned into a slow-motion train wreck. Fans and press alike were on edge. Everyone wanted to see one thing: Bella and Kaitlyn side by side. But it didn't happen. Bella showed up late, avoided cameras, and walked the red carpet alone. Kaitlyn, on the other hand, was all smiles, posing confidently with producers, co-stars, and HBO executives. And inside the venue, the seating chart was crystal clear. Bella and Kaitlyn were deliberately separated. Not a photo, not a glance, not a word. Veteran entertainment reporters whispered, "There's something seriously wrong." And fans watching the live stream picked up on it immediately. The illusion of unity had shattered. The feud had gone public, and The Last of Us was unraveling faster than anyone could contain it. Here are the expanded sections 7 and 8 of the dramatic, curiosity-driven YouTube script for Bella Ramsey in tears, as Kaitlyn Dever blames her for The Last of Us 2. Flop in Part 3 Cancellation. The fallout wasn't confined to awkward red carpets or viral Instagram clips. It exploded into the heart of the fandom. Forums like Reddit, Reset Era, and Twitter X became battlegrounds overnight. YouTube creators were pumping out exposés by the hour. Why? Because The Last of Us 2 had become more than a TV show. It was a symbol of betrayal. Gamers who had fallen in love with the original were now accusing the studio of burning it to the ground, all because of bad creative choices and, increasingly, because of Bella Ramsey herself. The narrative had shifted. Bella wasn't just a casting mistake. She was now being blamed for derailing the franchise. Her political posts, her snarky interviews, her open clashes with Kaitlyn. Every move she made was scrutinized, dissected, turned into clickbait. And it wasn't just noise, there were consequences. Streams of the game dropped like a rock. Twitch numbers plummeted, YouTube videos bashing the show racked up millions of views. Positive reviews were drowned out by waves of backlash. Meanwhile, Kaitlyn Dever stayed silent. Graceful, professional. And that silence spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, sources say she was boiling with frustration. Watching the franchise she had fought to join spiral into chaos, while the studio's biggest star seemed to fan the flames. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, Bella Ramsey pressed post one tweet. 2 words: "Free Palestine." And instantly, the already fractured fandom detonated. Supporters hailed it as brave. Critics called it reckless. But for HBO and Naughty Dog, it was a nightmare scenario. The entertainment industry is notoriously sensitive when it comes to geopolitical issues, and Bella had just stepped into the most volatile conflict on Earth publicly. The reaction was swift and brutal. Supporters of Israel called for her removal. Industry figures condemned her. Comment sections turned radioactive. And Kaitlyn Dever? Her own family reportedly has ties to pro-Israel organizations, making her a direct target of harassment simply by association. The studio had to act. According to insiders, HBO increased security for both actresses. Private meetings were held, damage control went into overdrive. But it was already too late. The divide wasn't just behind the scenes anymore, it was global. And for executives at Naughty Dog, the realization hit hard. Bella Ramsey was no longer just a controversy magnet. She was a liability, one they could no longer afford to protect. Behind closed doors, the conversation shifted from, "Can we fix this?" to "Can we survive this?" Absolutely. Here's an expanded, ultra-dramatic version of sections 9 and 10, designed to push viewer curiosity, heighten emotion, and maximize retention for a high-impact YouTube script. Back at Naughty Dog HQ, the mood had shifted from panic to crisis mode. Their golden goose, The Last of Us, was now hemorrhaging goodwill. Every new headline was a disaster. Every trending hashtag a PR grenade. Fans were divided, the media was circling, and the trust they once had in Bella Ramsey was officially gone. So they did what desperate studios do when things spiral out of control. They went all in. Studio president, private jet, destination, London. Bella was on set for another project, unaware she was about to face the most high-stakes meeting of her career. Inside a luxury hotel suite, Bella sat across from the studio's top brass. Calm, cold, focused. The request? Simple. On paper. Walk back the tweet. Delete the post. Distance yourself from the controversy. But Bella Ramsey had already made up her mind. According to insiders in the room, she looked the president in the eye and said, "I'm not going to silence myself to make your lives easier." The heir left the room. This wasn't negotiation. This was war. And it ended with executives storming out, furious, defeated, and convinced Bella had become a ticking time bomb. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Kaitlyn Dever was reportedly watching the collapse unfold from the sidelines, quietly venting to friends about how she'd been dragged into a disaster she never signed up for. For months, she had bit her tongue, stayed silent, played nice, but behind closed doors, she blamed Bella for all of it. The franchise she fought to join was now disintegrating because of one person's choices. One meeting, one refusal, that's all it took. And suddenly, the most anticipated third installment in gaming history was dead. The announcement hit the industry like a nuclear blast. No soft language, no vague development pause. The Last of Us Part 3 canceled. The project was shut down, budgets frozen, scripts scrapped. A franchise once hailed as untouchable was now a cautionary tale. But what followed wasn't just corporate spin, it was the ultimate betrayal. For the first time since the rumors began, Kaitlyn Dever stepped into the spotlight and spoke publicly. Her tone, measured, professional, but her words, devastating. In a sit-down interview, she carefully chose her phrasing. Sometimes what happens behind the scenes can be more damaging than what's on the screen. She didn't mention Bella. She didn't have to. The message was crystal clear, and fans across the internet connected the dots instantly. YouTube exploded, TikTok montages flooded timelines, reaction videos, think pieces, duets, commentary breakdowns, all with one central theme. Bella Ramsey had tanked the franchise. Naughty Dog offered no defense, no clarification. They let Bella take the hit. She was isolated, abandoned, erased from marketing, removed from thumbnails, quietly cropped out of press materials. And then, she went silent. Her Instagram? Quiet. Her Twitter X? Deactivated for days. Fan pages went dark. Cryptic Instagram stories hinted at emotional turmoil. One post showed a black screen with a single line. Not every lesson comes with mercy. The girl who once carried a billion-dollar IP on her shoulders was now fading into the digital background. Meanwhile, Kaitlyn soared. Her performance in The Last of Us 2 was praised. Her reputation remained spotless. She booked new roles, she smiled in interviews, and the fandom, bitterly divided. Half called Bella a victim of cancel culture, politics, and scapegoating. The other half called her the reason a masterpiece crumbled. Either way, the result was the same. A franchise in ruins, a fan base at war, a future that never came. And as the dust settles, the only thing left is the question: was Bella Ramsey unjustly blamed, or did her own defiance destroy The Last of Us? And did Kaitlyn Dever speak out to protect the story, or protect herself? One thing's for sure, this saga isn't over. Because when the world builds you up just to watch you fall, someone always tells the next chapter.